welcome to Run In Plays with Coach P. Wade. I am Coach P. Wade, and we're here for another episode. On this episode, I want to talk about the differences between being kind and being a people pleaser. And the reason that comes up is because a lot of times, through a lot of my therapists, and I've been through a lot of therapy, which I'm not ashamed of, I'm actually very proud of, is when I talk to my therapist, we always talk about people pleasing because I was a habitual people pleaser, wearing a cape, things like that. And I used to see it as being kind. But one of the things I want to talk about, and I want to make sure that you all aren't doing, is when you say yes to others, are you saying no to yourself? Because sometimes we say yes to others and we're saying no to ourselves, like in situations where people may need us for some things and we're like, yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. But at the same time, you had that time allotted for you to take a nap or for you to do something for your self-care, me time, etc. But now you're overextending yourself and trying to make sure your sister, your mom, your spouse, whatever the case may be, is being taken care of, and you neglect yourself. And those are the things we have to realize. It's not okay. We can't do it out of fear. We can't do it because we're afraid that someone may react in a certain way, because a lot of people aren't used to us saying no, right? When you say no to people, it can kind of make them, it can pinch their heart a little bit. So sometimes when we say no, or we don't like to say no out of fear, we have fear of some upsetting someone, fear of making somebody feel away, being their feelings. But at that same time, what does it do to you? So just be careful and be mindful. Are you being kind or are you people pleasing? Are you doing it for transactional things? Are you doing it for love? Like, I'm going to do this for them so they can do that for me. Are you doing it for affection? I'm going to make sure I take my girl or my guy out so they can do XYZ for me. Or for your kids so they can show you more love and reciprocate it. When you do it like that, that's people pleasing. It's not doing it out of kindness. Or sometimes, I've been in this situation before. I did it out of, I didn't want to lose somebody. I was like, okay, let me make sure I show up and do all of these things. Like in my previous marriage, I wanted to show up and do so many things. Even though I knew I was overextending myself, even though I knew my plate was getting heavy, full, and I was about to break. But I felt like if I didn't do those things, I would lose the person I was with. So sometimes people pleasing can go into that, or you do it out of obligation. You feel guilty if you don't do it. And when we do things like that, people pleasing can be very, very detrimental to our health. So I just want to come today and talk about, when you say yes to others, are you saying no to yourself? And those are the things I just talked about, being fearful, doing it for transactions, doing it because you are afraid of losing somebody, or doing it out of obligation. Anytime you do it like that, that's the wrong reason. That's not being kind. Being kind, you're doing it because you truly want to do it. You're doing it because you have the time allotted to do it. You're not doing it because you're going to feel guilty if you don't do it. You're just showing up as that person. But for me, and I know for a lot of people, which I've let this go, I am no longer a people pleaser. I'm at the other end. I probably, my therapist sometimes, they were like, you just went to the opposite end. Like, I didn't even go to the middle. I was a people pleaser, and now I'm like total opposite. Like, no, not doing it. I'm sorry, can't do it. Nope. I got so many different ways I'm gonna tell someone no, and I'm 100% okay with that. I don't feel guilty. I don't care about the transactions. I don't think I'm gonna lose them, and I have no fear. And for some that may sound crazy and that may sound pretty harsh or heartless, but for me, it's like, nah, you finally showing up for you. You finally doing what you need to do for you. You're finally loving you, loving yourself, showing yourself love, and putting you first. And I think that's one thing that a lot of us have a hard time doing, is putting ourselves first. But I'm here to tell you that it's okay to be number one in your life. I'm going to say that one more time. It's okay to be number one in your life. I don't care if you have kids. I don't care if you're married. I don't care. It's okay to be number one in your life. And let me clear that up, because I know a lot of people, we have higher powers, got God, all that. I'm not saying that. But in this world, it's okay to be number one in your life and put yourself first. Because if you don't, What happens, and this has happened to me, this has happened to plenty of people around me, we end up losing our charge, and we end up trying to pour into people from an empty cup, and you cannot pour from an empty cup. You find out in so many different ways. Maybe you find yourself becoming irritated. You find yourself becoming angry. You're lashing out on people. That's because you're pouring from an empty cup. You're doing all these things. You're people pleasing from an empty cup. So it don't even come off in the way you want it to come off because you angry, you mad, you irritated, you people everybody getting on your nerves. You're not really doing it out of the act of kindness. So this is a quick video. I just want to come through and say, when you say yes to people, make sure you're not saying no to yourself. I'm not gonna make this one a lengthy one. I just want you to really start showing up for you. You deserve to show up for you. It's okay to show up for other people. You should show up for other people. I show up for other people all the time. But if I know it's something like, hey, it's self-care day for myself, if I know I'm depleted, if I know I need a nap, if I know I'm tired, if I know I'm edgy, if I know I'm irritated, sometimes I got to say no. And I don't feel bad nor guilty for saying it. And I want you all to get to that point in life where you don't have to put on a cape. You don't have to be a people pleaser. You can still be kind and you can still love others while saying no, while saying I can't do it this time, while putting the Heisman here and there. And I don't want anyone to take that as a bad thing because you can't say no to yourself. If you say no to yourself, you're not going to show up good for this world. You're not going to show up good for your kids. You're not going to show up good for your spouse. You're not going to show up good for work. So when you say yes to others and you're saying no to yourself, you're doing something detrimental to you, detrimental to others that are around you, detrimental to your mental health, detrimental to your physical health. So when you say yes to others, make sure you are not saying no to yourself. Period. And that's all I want to just put that out there. This isn't even a long episode. I just had some conversations with people this weekend about people pleasing, and I don't want us to be people pleasers. We're no longer in the industry, in the game, in the field. We ain't people pleasing anymore. We're going to be kind. We're going to have kind hearts. We're going to show up for others. We're going to do things when we can, but we're not going to do them out of fear. We're not going to do them because they're transactional. We're not going to do them because we think we're going to lose them, and we're not going to do them out of obligation. No more of that. So just remember, when you say yes to others, make sure you ain't saying no to yourself. And that's all I got. And y'all remember, playtime is over. We out here. This is our season of thriving. This is our season of being the best versions of ourselves. Check me out on all my socials: TikTok at Coach P Wade, Instagram at Coach P Wade, Facebook at Patrice Wade. And that's all I got, y'all. Playtime is over. Let's get it.